So today the desk setup might look a little bit different because in order to fit everything in here, I had to send the camera, a lot farther back. Because today I want to talk about, some of the questions that I had before I bought the Ronin RSC 2 from DJI and how compatible it is it with my new Canon R5. So without further ado, let's cue that intro and get right into it. So the first question that I kind of had was, will it hold, the weight of my Canon R5? And the quick answer to that is yes, for the most part. This thing can hold around 6.6 pounds. I believe I'll put the accurate number on the screen. And the camera itself, just the body, is around 1.6 pounds. With the battery grip, it's another, pound and a half. And then this is where it gets iffy. It all depends, on the type of lens that you use. Most of the time you'd be using primes on something like this, so those lenses will be a little bit lighter than some of the zoom lenses that I have, like my big 70-200 and 24-70, which I'm shooting on right now. Another question that I, was wondering before buying this was, how long does it take to set it up? And let me show you that right now from the beginning, from when it's all folded to the end where I get it all calibrated. And you could watch this whole thing through and I'll speed it up and kind of give you the final time at the end. Alright, as you can probably see, it is probably at its smallest size. This thing is honestly really small. It could probably fit on the top little part on my backpack. So what I'm going to do is now put it together, and you could watch how long it takes to do that. Probably the first thing I'm going to do is put the little feet on, which just screws on with the little screw hole on the bottom. It's a tiny little thing, so it's a little bit harder to click in sometimes. So there we go. Now we got that. And then the next step is to fold this back up straight. This part always scares me because I always feel like I'm going to break it, but it's actually really sturdy. So once that's in, it clicks in. I'm going to tighten this screw right here to lock it so it doesn't move when we have the camera on. So that's up. I'm going to unlock everything just to get it in the right spot. So I'm going to unlock it there. I'm going to keep that one locked. I need to unlock this one. Unlock this, lock it back up. Unlock this, lock it back up. Alright, so now we got, the basic shape of what, you usually see when you look at one of these. The next thing is to put the little Arca plate underneath, which I already did. You just screw it on with this little handle kind of thing, so it just tightens really easily. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw this bridge part. So we're going to put the Arca plate onto this bridge part right here, like so. It's going to click in nice and easy. We're going to lock it up in the back right here. And then this is going to go onto the tripod as such. But as you can kind of see, it's already too wide for, this side right here. So I'm going to have to move this plate a little bit to the right because of that. To do that, you simply just untighten some of the levers on the plate right here. And I'm just going to move it a little bit further back than I usually would, just so that I can make sure I get it on the first round. And then we could add adjustments as we go. So I'm going to throw this on right here. The first time I did this, it didn't seem to slide on perfectly, but I think it's working a lot better now. So I got that on here. I'm going to lock it in with this little lever on the side. So that's good right there. Now we have to go into the whole balancing act of this whole thing. And the first couple parts are a little bit longer than the last one, but I'll show you kind of step by step how I do it. So this first one, we want to make it so that when we let it go, it kind of just floats there nice naturally. So in order to do that, we're going to have to loosen this one and slide this bridge plate so that it levels out to eventually where it just doesn't fall backwards or forward anymore. So it's still falling backwards, so I think I need to move it forward, kind of like so. Something like that. See, and like this thing takes time, but once you have it set up for for that same setup, you could just put it right on back. So there we go. Oh, it took so long. I didn't think I could actually do it with this setup. All right. Next thing is we want it to get nice and even this way, so that when we hold it up like this, it just stays standing kind of like this. In order to do that, we got to move this kind of piece right here, and that's by loosening up this thingy. There we go. That's nice and even. That was actually really short right there. Alright, so once this is done, we're going to lock it up, and that's the beauty of this gimbal. A lot of other ones, you don't have that lock feature, so it makes it harder to do it that way. The next is this side. We're going to unlock this. If I could find the unlock thing, it's right here. So what this one is we want it to be able to, we don't want it to swing around, we want it to stay flat. So in order to do that, we have to move this back one so that it doesn't swing. So I'm going to unlock it so that we can move it, and it seems to be swinging still. And we are good with this side. We lock it up again, and then let us work on this front part right here. So basically this one's a little bit more complicated to explain, but once you see it, pretty much what we want to do is we want to unlock it, and while it's facing us kind of this way straight ahead, we want to tilt it to slightly, and if the camera moves, then we need to make some adjustments, but it seems like it's not really moving, so I'm gonna try it one more time. Just make sure. And yeah, so it's not really moving too much. Just move a little bit. So it's not moving really too much, so we can keep it like is, like so, and do the final thing. So the last thing we gotta do is this thing called the shake test. It checks to see if, you know, everything is optimal, and then it makes little micro adjustments for it. So what we're gonna need to do is unlock all these locks, and by doing so, it should be relatively nice and even, as you can see here. That's when you know you did a pretty good job. So I'm going to hold this M and trigger button down for around 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and it's going to do this little calibrating thing, as you can see here, where it shakes up the gimbal, and then it makes little micro adjustments when needed internally. So we're going to do that, and there's this final additional step that you got to do in the DJI Ronin app on your phone, which just checks to see, you know, the level, you know, of your balance and how, you know, good it is. This one says, you know, it's kind of fine, so we're going to be chilling with this, and that is, you know, roughly around the time it takes to get this thing set up. I mean, it's no easy task the first time around, because you have to make, you know, all those single adjustments to each of those, you know, different axes. But once you know, use, you know, the same kind of setup, the same kind of lenses, it just becomes a breeze. You just, you know, turn it on and off, and then slide, you know, this plate out with your camera. When you want to take B-roll, just slide it back in with the same lens setup, and you're good to go. So this is mostly me setting up for tomorrow's event. Another question that I had was, will it be able to support the R5 with the battery grip? And as you can see here, you know, it does that. I mean, it's holding up fine. It's not looking to be an issue here. It is a little bit heavy of a setup, but I mean, it does it in case, you know, you want to use it with it. The other thing I was curious to see was, do I need the focus motor in order to use, you know, manual focus on this gimbal? And to answer that, what's actually kind of interesting is you don't. I'll take a short little video right here with the R5, but as you can kind of see, I can control it all straight from my gimbal. I press the record button, it starts recording, and then all I gotta do is use this focus motor right here. So let me turn off autofocus, and I just slide this focus wheel, and you can see, you know, the focus changing with my finger moving it without the focus motor, you know, attached to it, which is just kind of crazy to me. I'm like, I just saved like $100 right there. So this blows my mind that I'm able to do this. The one thing that you will need if you want access to that feature would be the Raven Eye active track system, which if you own a DJI product like the Mavic Air 2 drone, it has something where you could pretty much highlight the subject that you want to track, and then the gimbal will move and kind of find that subject. With this, it's kind of the same thing. The active track goes down here, and with your phone you're able to highlight the person that you want to track, and the gimbal does it all for you. You will need the Raven Eye for that to work. So I can't give any input on that as of right now. They're sold out everywhere, so I'm waiting for them to, you know, come back in stock. But having, you know, no need for the focus motor just is crazy to me. So I think those were all the big questions that I had in regards to this gimbal setup for the Canon R5. Definitely happy so far with the purchase. I mean, it answered, you know, all the questions that I was wondering with pretty much a yes to it, and hopefully this video, you know, could help you too if you're on the fence for this product. I'll come out in the future with a future review on it after I get more in-depth kind of time and experience with it. And yeah, so if this video helped you at all, make sure to press that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on future adventures, vlogs, tutorials, you know, unboxings kind of like these. And I'll see you on the next one. All right, see you later. Bye. This one's a little harder than I thought. It's falling back. I gotta go forward.